Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys figure review. Now I know you're probably sitting there thinking, hey Justin, haven't you already reviewed the Mark 50? And yes, I have, and it's currently my most popular video on the entire channel, but this is no regular Mark 50. This is the Mark 50 Standard Chartered Edition, and for those of you Iron Man figure connoisseurs, you know that this is one of 80 in the entire world. Super limited run, and I'm super lucky to be just even having a look at this piece right here. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to go a little bit into the history of this figure. So basically, in order to get this piece, you have to be a resident of Hong Kong or move over to Hong Kong, open up a bank account with the Standard Chartered Banking Company, and deposit 172,000 US dollars into that bank account for 6 months to even be eligible to get this figure. That is a hell of a lot of effort, and that's why this piece is so incredibly limited. However, my supplier, Philip Liu from Toys Wonderland HK, has managed to get his hands on a few of these, and they are up on his website right now. The link is down in the description below if you'd like to own one of 80 Mark 50s in the world from this Standard Chartered release, which is incredibly rare. Either way, there are a couple of things that are different about this Mark 50, which I'll point out in this video, and I've learnt a few things since I did my original review, so I'll be touching on those as we keep going. Either way, what we're going to do now is get all of the Mark 50's accessories out here and take a look at everything he comes with. Now, as you can see, he comes with pretty much the standard fare when it comes to the Mark 50 accessories, just like the regular edition. However, there are a few key changes that I'm sure the keen-eyed viewers at home will be noticing, the first of which is this little hologram piece. Now, this is one of the exclusive pieces to come with the Standard Chartered Edition. No, this is not a gummy lolly, this is definitely a sort of translucent green holographic Iron Man, and it is the Mark 50, and I really do actually like this piece. It's up to you to decide whether or not it's worth all that hassle in terms of getting this figure, but again, that's for you to decide. Now, I do have the hologram that came with the Mark II, the special edition. As you can see, they are sort of the same style piece. They're posed a little bit differently, and they are manufactured a little bit differently. It looks like the legs and the torso are all one part, whereas this one here, the legs are pegged in, but either way, they still do look pretty good together. If you're collecting these holographic little dudes, they are a little bit challenging to get the entire line, but I'm pretty sure you can do so if you do have a lot of money and a lot of time on your hands, because they don't come up very often. Either way, that's one of the exclusive pieces. Now, he also does come with a special display base. This is a part of the Standard Chartered Edition. It's a little bit different to the regular Infinity War one. That one was the hexagonal style display base, which is this one right here. They both say Iron Man on the front, but as you can see, they are very different in design. You can see the Mark 50 on there, a different style Avengers Infinity War logo compared to the sort of gold one. I really do like how this display bay looks, and I know it's definitely going to stand out on the shelf compared to all of the other guys which have this one right here. So definitely one of those eye-catching pieces that people will probably say, hey, why is that guy's base different? And then you can cue the Standard Chartered Edition story on how this figure came to be. Either way, we'll quickly go over some of the other accessories he comes with. So these are his flight stabilizers, and I didn't notice this in the original review, but they do have these little pieces that can move up and down, which, as I said, I didn't mention before because I didn't really notice them, but I have now, and you can see that it pegs in the exact same way. This is the exact same style piece that we got with the previous version. Still a little bit fragile, so do be careful when you are grabbing it not to put too much pressure on any of the little pokey out pieces on that one right there. Now, he does come with this one right here. It's confirmed. This was not in the movie. The little rocket section that came out on his arm was not this piece. 100% confirmed. This is not in the movie. Try and prove me wrong, but you can't, because I've watched the movie so many times looking for this piece. It is not in there. Something comes out of his arm. It's a rocket. It's very different to this piece right here. But either way, it still does look really cool, and it's a nice piece from a piece of concept art, and it's printed on that display base right there. So that's a nice little piece right there. Now, he also does come with his lobster claw accessory. It always confuses me which way it's up on this piece, but I'm pretty sure it goes like this. It looks good still, and you can peg it on for that light up effect, which I will show you a little bit later in the video. Now, he also does come with the interchangeable hands. These are his repulsor blast ones. They do unfortunately get a little bit of the sort of foam stuck onto the fingers if you do have them in the box over a long period of time, but it's fine. It sort of just rubs off. Just be careful where you are storing these hands, because you don't want that stuff sticking all over them. He also does come with the Robert Downey Jr. portrait, the Tony Stark head sculpt, which I think this is the best one I've gotten so far. I think the new Endgame one is a little bit more superior in terms of the paintwork and the sculpting and the expression. However, for the moment, this is the best Tony Stark head sculpt you can currently own. And then he does come with the little neck piece, which you install on in order to put it on the Mark 50 and create that sort of hidden away helmet effect, and it sort of covers up the neck. Otherwise, it'll be one huge long neck and it'll look a little bit funky. Either way, that's pretty much it for the accessories. What we're going to do now is get the figure himself out here and take a look at that armor. And here we have the Mark 50 himself. Now, I'm not sure if I showed off the light up effect in my previous review, but here it is now. Now, unfortunately, this arm has died since I put the batteries in, because those batteries that Hot Toys gives you, unfortunately, don't hold a hell of a lot of charge. It was lit up about like 2 seconds ago, and it's since died now. But either way, the rest of it looks really good. Now, I know a lot of people, including my buddy Darren, have wired up the actual suit itself to have the lights on permanently, and it's something that I'm considering doing because none of my Iron Man figures are lit up, and I know Dean Knight says this constantly, that the figure just looks dead. They should do something with the little light up sections to make them look lit up all the time, and I think the best way to do it is to actually have them lit up all the time. So I'm going to definitely investigate to see what I can do there. But either way, the armor itself is exactly the same as the previous version. The only difference is the fact that you are getting those added pieces, and of course knowing that this is one of 80 of these in the world. Now let's just show off some of the bits and pieces which you can peg on to the Mark 50. Let's start off with the little flight stabilizer pieces. Now they just peg in to the back just like the other little back plate that you can install, and it looks really good. I love the way this looks. It's something that I've toyed with in terms of displaying it in my actual shelf. I haven't quite committed to this crazy little back piece yet, but it's something that I am considering doing because it definitely gives him like a mean sort of look. It looks like he is ready for battle, and it definitely does work in my opinion for this design of Iron Man. Now, something that some other reviewers have touched on that's not necessarily correct is the actual shoulder gap here. As you can see, there is none. I mean, if you have the little shoulder pads sat just right, if you have them all sort of janky and out here, then of course there's going to be one. But if you have them pushed all the way in an angle just right, they pretty much disappear entirely. Of course, it comes down to posing, but as I said, if you have it just right, there is no shoulder gap at all, which is something that I know a lot of people have complained on in the past. Now, I did mention this in my other review, but I still love the fact that when you move the arm up, there are plates that move out of the way in order to give you the best range of motion. That's a really nice little piece of design and engineering that I really do appreciate. Now, in order to install some of his weapons, let's go for the little cannon piece that was not seen on film. Unfortunately, the light is dying again. I mean, the batteries that Hot Toys give you, as I said, they're not that strong, unfortunately, which is a real shame because a lot of people don't have the time or the energy to invest in the little wire sections. That's really difficult to get off. But once you do, you can pop this on there. So yeah, a lot of people don't have time or energy to invest in installing like the custom wires and everything, so you would wish that the stuff that Hot Toys gives you sort of works right out of the box for a longer period of time than it does. Either way, after manhandling the figure a little bit, here we have him with his little blaster on, and it looks really, really good. Not something, again, that was seen on screen, unfortunately, but still, it looks pretty darn decent. Now, in order to install the lobster claw, you do have to sort of, again, manhandle the little figure a little bit. You have to pull off his actual arm. Now, there is a little keyed section down there that you can know which way is up and down, and once you peg it in, if the lights were still working, the little contact points allow that piece right there to light up and get him into a blaster style pose with that piece right there. So there are a bunch of sort of interchangeable bits and pieces that you can install onto the Mark 50, especially if you have the accessory pack, which I've already reviewed on the channel, so definitely go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. Now, panning the camera down to the legs of the Mark 50, again, you can see this light right here is dying. No fault of the LEDs, but of course the batteries are giving out, and I won't mention the batteries again because people are probably getting a little bit annoyed at me keeping on with the battery hate, but either way, the legs look really good. A lot of people did complain about this thigh gap right here. I think it's a non-issue. The fact that you can move these little sort of panels out of the way to get the most out of the articulation, it had to be done that way. Otherwise, I just don't think it would have worked. It would have butted up into the actual sleek design of the armor here, and it would have caused a whole lot of issues. So if they had to do this in order to make it work, not an issue at all, in my opinion. Now, moving around to the back, you can see how sleek everything is. I love how tidy the Mark 50 is. It's one of the sort of best and most defining parts of this armor is how sleek it is. A lot of people don't like that. They would have preferred it to be more bulky, but based on this being nanotech, I think this definitely does work really nicely. Now, a piece of detail that's completely unnecessary, but one that's definitely appreciated, is the fact that you can take the chest plate off and you can see some really nice sort of intricate design work underneath. This looks a hell of a lot better than what we saw with the Neon Tech 2.0 recently. It's all nicely painted. You can see there's a nice wash to it. It looks really, really good. Now, here is the Mark 50 wearing the Tony Stark head sculpt and the custom glasses that I picked up recently from 1/6 Kit. These, of course, are the Edith glasses. They are pretty sure in stock right now as 1/6 Kit, so go ahead and check them out. But you can see the head sculpt looks really, really good on the figure itself. Now, the only reason why I have the glasses on is to make it a little bit different compared to the previous Mark 50 review I did, because I'm pretty sure I already did this shot in that video. But either way, it looks really, really good on the figure. I think the glasses set it off a treat. Absolutely worth picking up if you have the Mark 50, or I guess if you're going for the standard chartered edition. Alright, here we have the standard chartered edition compared to the regular version of the Mark 50, obviously with the battle damage faceplate and the Qatar on, but as you can see, they are the same figure. They're pretty much the exact same thing. One has the lights on and one doesn't, and here you get an idea of how sort of, I want to say boring, but it just looks dead compared to the actual lit up Mark 50. Those lights set off the figure a treat. So it's something that I'm definitely going to investigate in terms of how to get my Mark 50 lit up permanently, because this looks really, really good. Just wrapping up on the standard chartered edition Mark 50. This piece is as awesome as it was when I originally reviewed it. I love the Mark 50, from the design of the armor in the film to the execution of the figure itself. This is one of the best pieces, I think, in my entire collection. And the fact that you can now get this super limited rare edition is really just icing on the cake. It's one hell of an awesome figure, and it's got a great story to go along with it. I mean, if you can't afford to pick up this figure, then I recommend going for it. It is so incredibly rare, and over time, the value is going to go up. Not that I ever recommend investing in figures for an investment purpose, but still, it is an added benefit that you do get with a figure as rare as this. Either way, this figure is in stock right now. There are only a couple available on Philip's website, Toys Wonderland HK, and the link for that is down in the description below, so definitely go ahead and check that out. Also check out 6 Scale Network while you're down there in the description. The link is there for that as well. We're hosting regular giveaways. Also, there's going to be heaps of photos and behind the scenes content from my channel and MISB Media, which you should also check out down there. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.